All right, Shalom. This is a Ahara 1 by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Harakah Kodash, Ma'amaf. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. All right, this lesson here is going to be on this current event that's happening, dealing with the banking collapses, and to the point where, you have to be careful now because they're starting to flag videos because they're calling this a digital collapse of banks, blaming it on the internet, blaming it on social media, trying to blame it on the customers, So if you put it up on the internet that your bank is collapsing or something like that, or banks are collapsing in certain areas, next thing you know, people start pulling their money out. That's why they're calling it a digital bank run, to where people are flagging it on Twitter, talking about it, causing people to go pull their money out of the banks, which is a bank run. And when that happens, that crashes that bank. So that's what happened in this situation with Silicon Valley Bank. All right. So let's get into it. The article is on ABC News. It says Silicon Valley Bank, how a digital bank run accelerated the collapse. So the collapse is already going to happen, but it accelerated it. All right. The second biggest bank failure in the U.S. history took less than 48 hours. Took less than 48 hours, 2 days. It's going to take less than an hour for America to be completely destroyed. So the past 2 days, we've been witnessing a banking collapse. And you have 3 other banks, I think, collapse as well. And what they're afraid of is something called a contagion. A contagion is when one bank falls and then it spreads quickly throughout other banks, smaller banks, and around the world, which is happening as I speak. Banks over in Europe are crashing. Banks in Britain, what do you call it, the British pound is suffering from this. The dollar is crashing, and you have America's banks. A lot of people are panicking for the exit, and they're snatching their money out, which is called what? Bank run, which takes all the wealth from the banks, in which they have something in place called the FDIC, and the only money that's insured in these accounts is up to over $250,000. So if you don't have $250,000 in their bank and it's not insured, then you ain't getting no money back. So one of these days we're gonna wake up, go to sleep one night, hear about the banks collapsing, and in the turmoil, which we see right now. Everything is red and in negatives. And then we're gonna wake up in the morning and the systems are gonna change. They're gonna switch over to a digital system at some point, and there's gonna be no money in the banks that people can get. All right, so what they're telling people to do is what? Go into Bitcoin, go into blockchain, go into solid assets like gold and silver, investing in animals, like farming animals, and other assets that you can invest in and get away from the dollar while this crash is happening and get your money out the banks, which is still going to cause what? A bank run. And that's what these globalists want. That's what the Illuminati wants. All right, they want the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, that new banking conglomerate that's established by China and Russia. Their currency and their banks are standing strong right now. So this was all plan. This is a plan. This is a plan that was in place since 1913, before they even really established the Federal Reserve note. All right, so the beginning and the end of a system, a dollar fiat currency system, the old world order. Now they're moving towards what? A new world order, where it's based upon control and digital currency, going into Revelation 13 and 16. So it's happening right before our eyes. The Lord said that He was going to turn back our captivity before our eyes, man. All right, so the trickling down of all the banks falling, that's called what? A contagion. And that's what the customers are afraid of. Because the globalists, this is what they want. This is their plan. And ultimately, this is going to be a witness against them, because they're going to be the rich. And the poor are going to become poorer. The middle class is being shaken up by this and brought down to the lower level. So with the pandemic, they got rid of a lot of lower class or small businesses. Now they're going after the middle class. Even with the banks, the lower, smaller banks. All right. During the so-called pandemic, the lockdowns, the only one that was standing was what? The major corporations like Walmart, and such. But the small businesses, they got erased. They got wiped out. Now you have this situation, which is going to wipe out the smaller banks, and the more powerful banks are still going to be left standing until they get taken out, like Lehman Brothers. All right, so let's get into this article and kind of touch on the topic of what's going on. All right, Yahweh Ratazah will wake up one day and this will happen. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 21. Behold, victuals, meaning food, shall be so good cheap upon earth. Everything was cheap. But now you're going to have hyperinflation. You're going to have a dollar devaluation. And then ultimately no money at all. It's going to cause what? Riots. It says, victuals, food, shall be so good cheap upon earth. What was Walmart's slogan? Everyday low prices. Well, that's going out the window. That they shall think themselves to be in good case. See, in their mind, in America, they thought they were in good case. Look how much people were boasting, scoffing. All right. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth. So the evils are growing. Sword, that's the wars that's breaking out. Talks of martial law, Famine. Now, what's going to bring famine? A dollar crash. Sanctions from America to China and China to America. War. All right. Lack of GDP, gross domestic product, and debt. All these cause what? Hyperinflation, dollar devaluation, and a collapse of an actual economy. Because the economy represents the term house. But within this house, the house of the thief, America, Babylon, they set up an economy between the rich and the poor. And that's when you get a cycle going. The rich sell to the poor buy from the rich. Or the poor sell to the rich. You get what I'm saying? So it's economy back and forth. All right. Corporations, buyers, consumers. So all of the wealth that the elites have stolen from the people is going to be a witness against them, man. All the gold they got, all the real wealth that they got, man. They got antiques that we never seen before. Stones that got actual energy in them that we never seen before. Stones that could change color and shit like that. What the Rothschilds have, man. And what they do is they put them in museums. All right, so And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. See, great confusion. And that's what people are in right now, great confusion. And also with confusion comes riots and sedition among men. To where they're going to rise up. Sedition means to rise up against the government, the governing bodies. And that's what they're going to do. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of the famine. See? And the other, because there's going to be no food out here, or money. And all these people are going to take, when you, if people don't have physical cash on hand again, if the banks continue to have this contagion to where it spills over to other banks, that's what the contagion is called, then they're not going to have any money, which they're not going to be able to buy and sell. Which is going to be what? Famine. What happens in the dollar crash? Famine. What happens when there's no food coming in to America? Famine. All right. And the other that escaped the hunger shall the sword destroy. So that's what's coming next. Martial law, destruction, ICBM missiles, World War III, riots. And the dead shall be cast out as dung. So that's what is going to bring, a lot of death. And there should be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted and the cities shall be cast down. So that's what's happening. The cities are being prepared to be cast down. All right, the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, the second biggest bank failure in the U.S. history, took place over less than 48 hours ago. Customers withdrew $42 billion, nearly a quarter of the bank's total deposits, within a single day last week. So they did that in one day. Took away a quarter of the wealth of that specific bank, because these banks don't have no money. They get all the money from us. Someone deposit money into a bank for for safekeepings. The banks take that money, they loan it out to somebody else for a wedding or for a house, and somebody pays back on that loan. Then they give a loan out to somebody else. They get more money, and people make deposits into it, trusting that it's safe, and it's safe. So that's how the banks make their money and investments. But the world is moving away from the original banking system, man. They're moving towards digital transaction, digital money, which is all part of their plan, man. To press the fear button and get people to scatter and run all over the place. And they're going to open the door right for people to run into it. It's going to be digital. The safe haven. Go into another asset, or you can go into digital. See, people go right into digital. It's not that easy to get gold and silver like it used to be. All right. The speedy bank run has raised questions about the fragility of financial institutions. So all these institutions, the financial institutions, are fragile right now. Matter of fact, let me get that. It's Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth. So remember the Lord now, while you're young, while you're able to walk around, and while you're able to read, while you're able to speak, while you're able to pray. Remember the Lord now, before a person's on their deathbed or too far up in age where they can't do anything and their body is frail and they're ready to transition. While the evil days come not, see, don't wait till then. Nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. That represents old age, being way up in age to where they're ready to depart from this earth. Don't wait until then to start seeking the Lord. Don't wait till somebody's on their deathbed to seek the Lord. Don't wait until all hell breaks loose to try to seek the Lord. No, you got to seek him now. Seek him early, while he may be found, while the prophets are speaking. while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In a day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. All right? And that's happening. The keepers of the house are trembling. Who's the keepers of the house? These corporations, these banks, all right? The police departments, the military, the politicians. They're the keepers of the house, and they're trembling. And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. There's not going to be any employment, no work. And those that look out of the windows be darkened. You see, people are going to be stuck in their homes. That goes into lockdowns, being scared. And the doors shall be shut in the streets. All the businesses shut down. You saw how it was before, during the pandemic. It's going to be worse than that. All the doors are going to be shut in the streets. Not going to be anywhere to go for help. When the sound of the grinding is low, there ain't no work. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. Instead of people waking up to an alarm clock, they're going to wake up to just birds, hearing birds outside. No construction, no workers, no lawn mowing. You know, as you always hear out here in the streets, people busy, horns honking, people getting up for work. Now they're going to wake up to just nature. First thing you hear when during the past lockdown they had, you walk up the street, you see no cars on the street, nobody walking around, you just hear crows and birds and shit. And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. All right, so all these entertainers, everybody over here that's celebrities, rich, they're gonna be brought low. And that's happening. They're getting rid of the lower class, the middle class, bringing everybody to a lower state. This is the point. And also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, so they're afraid of these other countries, and they're afraid of judgment that's coming. You know, the chariots, and they're afraid of Russia and China. All right. And fears shall be in the way. That's why scripture say men's hearts failing them, meaning all their dreams and plans are crumbling before their eyes. Why? Because they sought to chase nothing but riches in this world. And the Lord said, if you're chasing riches, you're chasing a dream. And dreams deceive fools. That American dream, the pursuit of happiness, when they're not going to find that happiness in this place. This place is hell. It's a trap. All right. It says, and fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, man. The almond tree flourishing represents the prophecies of flourishing. All right. So we're seeing the prophecies come to pass. And the grasshopper shall be a burden, man. Meaning the smallest thing. See that? The fragile. The banking system is fragile right now. The grasshopper, so that a tiny little grasshopper, or a tiny little situation, such as a tweet. You know, has brought down a major bank in America within 48 hours. Took away a quarter, 25% of his earnings, of his actual wealth. $45 billion. And the grasshopper shall be a burden. See, something that small can destroy this whole system. It's fragile. And desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. What's that represent? Death. His long home represents the spirit realm and the grave. All right. So it can be a lot of death out here. So that's why there's going to be fears in the way, and mourning going out in the streets, because for the people that's about to die from what's coming. All right. So the system is fragile. The speedy bank run has raised questions about the fragility of financial institutions in a digital environment. See, the digital is destroying the financial institutions. You know? So who did that? Mansa Musa. I think he was the richest. They say he was an African, but I think he was a Jake. But Mansa Musa, he was one of the richest so-called Africans back in the ancient times, antiquity. And he actually crashed, I think, the European banking system, or whoever the ruling powers at that time, by giving gold to all the citizens, because that's the economy. You know, you have the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. But when you take care of the poor, the rich can't. There's a balance now. Now everybody's rich. So now, that means if anything alters their balance, like gold, silver given to the citizens, now they've given digital options to the citizens with blockchain and Bitcoin and gold, access to gold and silver. So the current financial institution is obsolete. We're just watching this circle of drain. All right. The speedy bank run has raised questions about the fragility of financial institutions in a digital environment marked by easy cash withdrawals. So people can snatch cash out like it's nothing from all kind of different ways from this one bank. And this you can send it right to your bank account. From your bank account into something else. Another asset. The spread of information on social media and other spaces online where panic among a few can grow into a stampede for the exit. All right, so people snatching their money out, transferring it into Cash App, gold assets through digital gold assets, blockchain, Bitcoin, XRPs, whatever they transitioning their money into, that's bleeding the life out of these banks and the purpose. All right, where panic among a few can grow into a stampede for the exit. So, it's called a bank run. Such a possible known as a digital bank run. Such a possibility known as a digital bank run, not just a regular bank run, when you walk into the bank and take your money out. Now they're worried about a digital bank run. It says, such a possibility known as a digital bank run heightens the risk of a sudden, widespread cash withdrawal, especially among a group of depositors who share an industry and social ties. All right, so they might all be in the same industry that are depositors, like these small tech companies, but then they also share social ties, meaning through like Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. It says, like the depositors in Silicon Valley, experts told ABC News. So the ones that had all their money in Silicon Valley, they all also share social media ties. This was the first Twitter-fueled bank run. Rep. Patrick McHenry, RNC, the chair of the House Financial Services Committee, said in a statement days after the fall of Silicon Valley Bank. The group of depositors in Silicon Valley was made up of a relatively small set of venture capital firms, tech startups, and other large investors. So these ain't regular depositors, man. You got to have like 250,000 or more and have it insured for you to get your money back. So everybody's basically outside of that. And also the FDIC just put it out there that they're not going to honor it. They're not going to honor paying people $250,000 to each investor or depositor because they want to snatch their money up, or because the bank crashed. They said they worried that would cause a contagion to where they had to pay it out to every bank. So they're not going to honor it, man. So people are like, yo, is our money insured or not? It's not. After a woeful financial report last Wednesday set off concern, some of the depositors discussed their reactions in WhatsApp and Slack groups devoted to startups. The Wall Street Journal reported. So they was talking on WhatsApp, and they all agreed to start pulling their money out digitally. Meanwhile, several prominent venture capitalists and other major investors voiced their concern on Twitter, amplifying fears of a collapse. Michael Berry, an investor best known for predicting the subprime mortgage crisis in 2008, warned in a now deleted tweet, "It is possible today we found our Enron." Whoa. All right, I think Enron is what caused that crash in 2008. On Thursday, shares of Silicon Valley Bank fell 60% in response to concern about the bank's distressed financial position, right? And I knew this years ago that if one major bank ever crashes, they're all going to start having that contagion. It's going to trickle down, and that's when we know this is it. So I've been waiting for this for a long time. This is one of the signs that the collapse is here. Probably the sign, the main one. There's going to be a major banking collapse. Just like they had a housing crash, now they're going to have a banking crash. All right. 2000, they had the, what was it called? .com bubble. Then 2008, they had the housing bubble. Now they have a banking bubble that's about to burst. By the early afternoon, the sudden decline of the bank took over online discussions among startup founders. According to entrepreneur Alexander Torrenegra, all of my chats with tech founders in the U.S. they're lighting on fire with what's happening. Torrenegra recounted on Twitter, "Obviously, we have a bank runoff. Surreal." They clearly have a bank runoff right now. All right. Digital bank run. Founders Fund, a venture capital fund led by billionaire investor Peter Thiel, withdrew all of its deposits that day. Wow, it took all his money out. Since the bank is FDIC insured, depositors were guaranteed protection of up to $250,000 in funds for different types of accounts held in the event of a collapse. However, many depositors in Silicon Valley Bank held accounts that far exceed $250,000, raising the stakes for those who failed to remove their funds before a potential bank failure. All right, so they're saying up to $250,000. So anything more than that, or some say less than that, basically their money's not insured. All right, because the information comes out faster. You get the information in real time, right, man? Because now scripture say that when knowledge is increased and people go to and fro, information is moving fast. It's widespread, and it leads people to take action. Campbell Harvey, a finance professor at Duke University, told ABC News, "If you're the first group out, you get 100% of your money. And if you're the last group out, you potentially get zero." So people like making a choice right now. Damn, should I take my money out? Should I go to the bank and take the money out? Should I just transfer it to another account or something? Try to move it to a stronger bank? Should I move it into digital? All right. Hillary Allen, a professor at the American University Washington College of Law who studies banking regulation, said the relatively small and tight-knit community of bank depositors helped to accelerate the downfall. Virtually all of the depositors were from the same community, and a community that was very online. So they're about to attack everybody online, more control of what people saying, you know. If you've got something like Silicon Valley Bank, where the vast majority of depositors are in tech industry and are very connected and all speaking to one another, those are the circumstances in which a panic can really flourish very, very quickly. So what? So what? They need to find a way to appease, to help that situation. The banks, they see everybody in the community and they're worried, then the banks should step up and decrease their worries. But instead, the banking, financial institutions are blaming the citizens, blaming the depositors. The globalists, the elite bankers, they're putting the blame on the citizens, on the people, getting people to fight against each other. You can see this in the cartoon The Simpsons. They had it on there about the banking collapse, and they caused people to start fighting against each other. All right, but the Lord said, "Nah, He knows who did it. The Lord knows who's doing this, who's behind the scenes, who's really getting rich off the situation. People like Bill Gates that's getting rich off the what you call it, lockdowns. Remember the pandemic? People now, so somebody's getting rich off of this too. There's always a loser. Where there's a loser, there's always a winner." To be sure, investors who fled the bank held well-founded concerns about the financial health. Silicon Valley Bank had loaded up on investments into long-term treasury bonds and mortgage bonds, which typically deliver small but reliable returns amid low interest rates. So they tried to help out. All right. As the Federal Reserve aggressively hiked interest rates over the past year, however, these holdings lost significant value. See that? So Silicon Valley Bank tried to appease their investors and their depositors, but them damn devils, remember? Federal Reserve hiking interest rates over the past couple of years. That's what did it. Now that it's happening, the problem is happening. You don't see the Federal Reserve nowhere. All right, the Federal Reserve chairman that keep coming out, Powell, whatever the name is. We're hiking rates again. And by hiking interest rates, they hope to slow down the economy. And by slowing down the economy, they're destroying the banks. The banking system. They're doing away with the old world order. Weakening America's economy. Taking away the strength of America so it can strengthen China and those other nations. So yeah, man, that's who's really doing it, the Federal Reserve. This is James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men. And the rich men are those globalists, the elite bankers, the Jesuits that are really getting rich off this whole situation, man. Order out of chaos. They already super rich. Now they want to be super billionaires, super trillionaires. All right. And they want full control. Go to now, ye rich men. Weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. What's miseries? That's going into their hell that's coming for them. All right. Wretchedness, calamity, hardship, trouble. All right. So they got everything right now, but they're going to lose it. The Lord going to make them vomit it up. that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, man. So all their riches in this place are corrupted. Their whole system, their economy that they set up is corrupted, and we see it. What does corrupted mean? All right, to putrefy, to make corrupt. So they're making it corrupt. To destroy, to become corrupted, rotten. All right, and your garments are moth-eaten. So their covering, their economy is moth-eaten, got holes in it. Their whole system that they got set up there, their safety nets. Their banking system has holes in it. All right. Now it says here, your gold and your silver is cankered. So their money, that's what the dollar represents today. Cash on hand or money. And is what? Cankered. What's cankered? Like a canker worm or a cancer. All right, canker worm put holes in stuff that's rotten. It feeds on dead systems or dead things. That's a cancer causes something to rot and die off. So that's what their dollar is doing, and their system that they set up is all cankered. But check this out. And the rust of it, all right, so the rottenness of it, the rust of it, as if emitted by metals, also venom as emitted by serpents. Poison of asps is under their lips, spoken of men given to reviling and calumniating, and thereby injuring others, man. See that? All right, so they rust. So they're causing this poison, they're causing this rust to the system, which is what? Ultimately injuring other people. The rust of them shall be a witness against you. So the Lord see these devils, man. He see what they're doing. And it's going to be a witness against them in the day of judgment for them causing all this and trapping people into this system. Really for the children of Israel. All right, so it's going to be a witness against them and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. See that? So in the kingdom, it's going to be a witness against them. And the Lord going to have them punishing? The Lord going to punish them as it were with fire. That's what you're going to have them in hell on earth. These elite bankers, man. What they've done to the world, what they've done to the people, deceiving the world, robbing, stealing from the poor, killing, setting up these banks. Where the Lord said this, where is it at? I'll just read this real quick. It says, your gold and your silver, verse 3, it says, ye have heaped treasures together for the last days, man. So they can be, so the Lord can look at them and say, who's the rich upon the earth? Where is Esau at? Because Esau going to be rich in these last days, the super rich. Robbing from the poor. Robbing from the world. I think Schwab Bank is one of the biggest banks, the Schwab family, which you get Klaus Schwab, his family members. So the Lord gonna show up on the earth and see that these devils are trying to hide and what they're causing to happen from manipulating from behind the scenes to cause mass death for their satanic agenda. So they have heaped treasures together for the last days, so the Lord could take it from them. All right, so it says, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, jakes that are working in this society, which is of you kept back by fraud. See, they keeping, they say 40 acres and a mule, the knowledge of who we are, black, they want reparations. Well, they not giving it to us. They're not giving it to our people. All the promises they made to the Gadites by putting them in reservations, they never honored those promises. Well, the Lord said what? And they're keeping it from us by fraud, man. Also through that dollar, through the banking system. Because that's what the dollar is. It's this right here. Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is an abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight. So that dollar is a false balance. And woe to them that just chasing after riches. This is why the Lord said you cannot serve God, serve Yahweh and Mammon. Chasing after riches is a trap. It's a trap. It's a setup for control. It's a way to lead people into the dungeon. It's a false balance. That's what the dollar is. It says $20 on it, but it's only worth it's worth less than the paper that it's written on. In this world where the economy is changing, where thieves can break through and steal through fractional reserve currency, through changing of the laws, through changing of policies. So it says the integrity. Let's get verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness deliver from death. So that's what it's about. We want to get our spiritual bank account up. So people have gone too far in this world trying to be celebrity, trying to be a character for this world instead of becoming the character we need to become in the Lord's story of salvation. All right. So that's what he means by you can't serve God and Mammon. You're either going to be a prophet, a man of the Lord, you can become rich or whatever, but your status should be a prophet. In this world, you can be a business person or whatever you have. But you can't serve Yahweh and Mammon. It's hard to be a celebrity and still go out and do the work. Imagine Floyd Mayweather trying to do the work right now. He could because he got money. You'll think he got time. But he'll lose all his fans instantly. 75% of them he had to tell they're going into slavery. Proverbs 23:3. Be not desirous of his dainties. Who? The rich man. So we're not desirous of their digital currencies. We're not desirous of their offers and their bait into the traps that they're bringing. We're not desirous of their new world order. Labor not to be rich. All right, so that's not the goal. We take our daily bread. So we're not laboring to be rich in this society, passing down generational wealth. That's not the concern. The focus is the kingdom. The focus is passing down generational wisdom from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, heavenly wisdom. And this is why. Cease from thy own wisdom. See, will thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? Yeah, because there's no money in the banks. There's no money in the banks, man. So people are setting their eyes upon that which is not, like that's the future. For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. Meaning out of reach, where people can't get it. All right, so they make themselves wings. They fly away, man. Riches. They come and go. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats, man. So whatever they coming out with next, the Lord saying, restrain thyself. Don't move in haste. Don't panic. If we wake up in one day, which could be soon, and there's no money in the banks, and they switch over to a digital system, we have to fortify ourselves because, make sure we don't take or receive the C-hip that goes into Revelation 13:16. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. He says what? Eat and drink, saith he to thee. giving out bailouts, giving out what was that they gave out to people, man? PPP loans. Now look at that, people suffering for it, going to jail for having PPP loans, can't pay it back. But now look, eat and drink save heed to thee, these politicians, but his heart is not with thee, man. So their mind is not with the people. Their mind is with the corporations and the rich, and with the other Satanists and devil worshippers, and elites, and globalists, and masons. The morsel which thou hast eaten, thou shalt vomit it up, and lose thy sweet words, man. America the beautiful, you know. Everything all right, man. Obama in power. Damn, what happened to Obama? Everything all right, man. Trump got it. What happened to Trump? Everything all right, man. Biden got it. What's happening to Biden? But the banking system can't crash. You heard that many times over years. You talk to people, it ain't gonna happen. Now look, where those people at? Right? They're gonna lose those sweet words that they said about this place and this banking system and that dollar. Matthew 24 and 21, for then shall be great tribulation. And this is part of that great tribulation that's coming. The banking crash. Such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. So this is the biggest crash ever. That's gonna happen when the system falls completely. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So there's definitely something to worry about, but the elect shouldn't be in fear. The elect should have hope. All right. Revelations 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. That's when Revelation 13 and 16 comes into play, and they move into this digital system. All right, and this is it. We're at that moment. We're at the precipice of it, which shall come upon all the world. So it's going to be a whole financial system collapse, where they get rid of fiat currency, paper money, and they move the whole world into a digital system. All right, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. You know, don't submit to the system. You know, don't let these Edomites take your crown, this salvation. All right, so, where was I at? That's right, so that gold and silver has been cankered. All right, so look at this devil, man. President Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, speaks about the U.S. banking system, all right, in the Roosevelt Room on White House. Okay, cool. A day before the major crash withdrawal, Silicon Valley Bank announced that it had lost $1.8 billion on the sale of those distressed bonds. This isn't purely a bank run. See, it's not. It's trying to blame it on the depositors, but it's more than that. This collapse has already happened into that bank. But the digital bank run, people saying it online, that made it speed up when people took their money out. This isn't purely a bank run. Itamar Dressler, a professor of finance at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business, I used to live on Wharton Street, told ABC News the bank had a very fundamental problem. See, it was already there. The system was already cankered. Still, the speed and reach of online communication likely accelerated the bank's collapse. So they're gonna mess with online communications real soon. Like a crowd that moves together very fast, if it decides to exit some place, there's a problem. Dressler said, if we coordinate more through social media and other information technology that can cause the crowd to move a lot faster. All right, what's called a digital bank run. While digital banking allows for quick and easy withdrawals, the availability of such a service likely contributed little or not at all to the bank run. Wow. So they still saying it's a digital bank run, but they ain't really had nothing to do with it. It's really the Feds raising those interest rates as well. Since such technology has existed for many years without significant issue, the experts say, ooh, see the witchcraft, man? This stuff social media has been around for years. But ain't no bank runs happen, digital bank runs happen. See that? They're targeting something here. They're looking for a space to gain more control over social communication, digital communication, digital warnings. They want to block that. So they blaming it on the depositors speaking on Twitter when it's really a system that was already failing. People have been talking for a while about whether the speed of digital banking itself would contribute to bank runs, said Allen of American University. My view on that is it has been relatively easy to get your money out for quite a while now. I'm not sure how much of a difference that has made. In response to the outcry and fearing wider spread of the crisis, the FDIC Treasury Department and the Fed ultimately took a major step on Sunday, telling depositors in Silicon Valley Bank that the FDIC would protect all of their funds, including those that exceed the $250,000 limit. Later that day, the Fed announced an emergency lending program to cover the deposits at issue and restore wider confidence in the financial system. So he's like, keep printing money, print more money. You know what I mean? Take the governor off the system. Go ahead and let the money just let it fly. So they just print money now. The spread of panic online may have contributed to the federal government's decision to take such extraordinary action and prevent uncertainty from seeping further into the financial system, Allen said. Was that part of the concern that motivated the Biden administration to step in because it was worried that the very public venting on Twitter might transfer to other banks as well? That's what they're worried about, the contagion. If you want to look it up, don't type in just contagion, where it sounds like a plague. Type in contagion in banking, and you'll get your. Let me see. I'm show you. All right. So you type in contagion in banking. The risk of contagion in banking, also referred to as systematic risk, is here defined as the risk that financial difficulties at one or more banks spill over to a large number of other banks or financial system, or the financial system as a whole. So that means the risk that financial difficulties spread or spill over to other banks or the financial system as a whole. Meaning start to have holes in it, cankered. Contagion can spread either through the information channel or the credit channel. All right, so it says America. This is what Biden said. You know, his job is to, put people to sleep. We call him Sleepy Joe. His job is to do the smear campaign. Oh, well, calm down, people. Everything's okay. We'll let you know we got you, and it's all a lie. Americans can rest assured that our banking system is safe. It's not safe, clearly. Biden said your deposits are safe. That's a lie. You know, it's that everybody's deposits are at risk, and this is a fact. Let me also assure you, We will not stop at this. We'll do whatever is needed. Biden also addressed the issue that day in a Twitter post. This is Psalms 12:2. They speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor. With flattering lips and with a double heart do they speak. That's right, man. So people like Biden are speaking with a double heart and flattering words, man. But the truth is, the system is cankered. Yahweh shall cut off all flattering lips and the tongue that speaketh proud things, man. Speaking about the new world order. You know, and the flattering lips, the lying that they're doing. This is Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, man. So, whew. All right, so the words are softer than oil, smoother than butter, flattering lips. They lying to the people. Everything's all right. Your money's safe. But really, this is what? They're drawing swords against us. All right, I'll end it here. Psalms 12:5. For the oppression of the poor. So that's their goal, to oppress the poor, man. And the poor really is the children of Israel. But they want to get rid of the lower class, smaller businesses. They want to they've done that. They want to get rid of the middle class, and they're doing that now as we speak. You know, so for the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy, now will I arise. See, the Lord is rising up. They talking about a fathership sitting out there in our orbit that's sending off smaller chariots to the earth, what they call UFOs. So the Lord is rising up against these devils. You got war breaking out around the world. All the Lord's prophecies are coming to pass. While Esau is moving forward like a flood, the Lord is raising up a standard against them at the same time. So now will I rise, saith Yahweh. I will set him in safety. Talking about the elect of Israel are going to be set in safety in the midst of all this. From him that puffeth at him. When you puff at somebody, you say, I ain't going to do nothing. Nobody ain't going to help you, man. I can do whatever I want to you. But that's what Esau is saying, man. All right. So the Lord is going to set the elect in safety, and the Lord is rising up against these devils. And that's why I tell a lot of these jakes, man, they be like, I'm ready for the war. I got my stick, you know, the gun. They ain't going to save you in this time, man. That ain't the type of war that we're fighting. That's why the Lord said we're fighting a spiritual war. You got people like Yuval Noah, Klaus Schwab, all these people, these global elites, changing the financial system, messing with the food, disease warfare, whatever you want to call it. Spiritual warfare. All right, that can only be fought with heavenly help, man. That can only be fought with spiritual power, and the power the Lord gave us is His truth. All right. So the Lord told us this is to the elect. Isaiah 41:14. Fear not, thou worm Jacob. So we shouldn't fear. And ye men of Israel, I will help thee. So the Lord's going to help us. Saith Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel.